is up, adventurers and travelers? Welcome in to Covet's Tavern for another fun night of Tavern Talk. I'm your host, Daiquiri Magic, alongside with my co-host, Silver the Survivor. Say hello, Silver.
Hello, Silver.
We really need to get another person in here again. We haven't had another guest come onto the show in 3 weeks now, so next week we will be hitting a month. If we don't get someone in the show next month, we're gonna be going. Huh?
What? Huh?
All right. So before we hop into the night show, I just want to let you guys know the YouTube channel is thriving right now. If you don't know, I do YouTube, Twitch, Kick, TikTok. I do a lot of things. You should check out my link tree. I have a lot of social media going on right now. We are posting every Monday through Saturday right now, with Sunday being my off day, so I can get more projects going for you guys. Podcast is going up right now. Another podcast will be going up, which I'm calling Story Time, which is just going to be me reading books. There's going to be no chat interaction with that one. It's just going to be me reading a story and trying to attempt voice acting. It's going to go horribly, but I hope you watch it. Also, new series are coming out right now. Paper Mario, The Origami King, along with Mario Golf Super Rush, the Random 3-Hole Challenge is happening right now. So go out and check that series out. On the Twitch channel, we are playing Payday 2 tonight, along with some spooky games coming up later on, like Dead by Daylight, Hide and Shriek, and some other fun stuff like that.
Phasmophobia?
Phasmophobia, yeah, we really need to we need to do Phasmophobia. I feel like that would be another fun one to do. Also, so my friend, my colleague, my greatest adversary, Kira Mekibun, has politely asked me to start streaming on TikTok, but with TikTok, you have to have a certain amount of followers, right? So I told her that if by the end of October we hit 1,000 followers so we can start streaming on TikTok, my first TikTok live stream will be me playing some game in a maid costume. So I'll probably put cat ears with it too, just to be funny with it, or bunny ears, because Kira Mekibun is making me do it. So you have till the end of October to help me get to 1,000 followers on TikTok. If that happens, we will stream more there along with Twitch. And then we will also do our first stream on TikTok in a maid outfit. So if you want to see that, follow my TikTok. But now, let's get to the show. Starting with the appetizer round of guilty pleasures, because tonight's show is all about guilty pleasures. When you go out to a restaurant, Silver, what are you getting for dessert? Could be any restaurant. It can be. What's up?
Well, I guess most restaurants have very similar dessert ideas. Like you got your cheesecakes, your brownies, your ice creams, and stuff like that. For me, going into that, I like brownie with ice cream. Like that's always like the perfect ending. If I have, for whatever reason, have a little bit of room left over after eating at a restaurant, brownie with ice cream is the way to go.
It really is the way to go. You got that, a brownie doesn't always have to be like, your normal chocolate brownie. You can have that white chocolate or that strawberry swirl brownie too. But it is always like that perfect elegance of fudge with ice cream, and it's like if it's toasted properly and it's properly warm when it comes out to you, it's just that much better.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm on the same page with you about the chocolate brownie, but I will say the molten cake or a lava cake, probably one of my favorite desserts of all time. Brings back a lot of great memories. It definitely like the chocolate lava flowing out from the center is just so ooey gooey, and then the hard shell on top of the ice cream, just amazing. I love it. Probably one of my favorites.
10 out of 10. Would eat again.
Now,
but
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, adding a little bit more to that conversation, I did have. It's not. I don't know. It's a fairly unique thing that I really enjoyed from Red Robin. They have or had a brownie French fry, quote unquote. So like the idea is like you got a brownie stick and it's covered in chocolate with sea salt, and you could dunk it in a berry, quote unquote, ketchup. And that was probably one of my favorite desserts that I've ever had from a.
God, are you trying to give me diabetes right now? Like, damn, that sounds good. Looks like we know what we're doing on TikTok next. We're gonna be making a food channel, because I definitely can do that. I definitely can.
You need to make some brownie French fries.
I think I could do a brownie French fries. Now the sauce with it probably I haven't gotten to jams and jellies yet. I haven't read that chapter in the book yet, but
all you gotta do is just press some fruit and then sprinkle some sugar and you're pretty much good. That's it.
Basically.
I don't think you even have to hit it up if you don't want to. You can just, I don't know. Squished fruit salad.
There's one dessert that everyone talks about, and it's my favorite cookie, which we can talk. We got a whole discussion about that later on. But there's a dessert that everyone raves about, and I've never had it, and because it just doesn't sound appetizing to me. But fried Oreos. Never
Ooh.
had it, and it just doesn't sound good to me. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, no, I get pretty picky when it comes to deep fried things,
I
just because it can become too much rather quickly.
so this is gonna sound really stupid, right? Speaking of fried things and everything, before we get hop back actually back to the main topic, um, I finally found out what a funnel cake was. I didn't know what a funnel cake was for the longest time. Like I always saw it like at the fairs and everything. Every time like we went to the fair when we were in high school and all that, and I always saw it. I was like, how the hell do they make funnel cake? And one day I was watching a cooking show. They take a funnel and they pour cake batter into it, and that's how they make funnel cake. And I was like, wow.
That makes too much sense.
It made me feel so stupid. I was like, I have to turn the show off. I don't know if I can live right now. Like, who I want to know who the genius was behind funnel cake, who thought, let me take a funnel, pour cake batter into it, and just drizzle that into a deep fryer. Who thinks of these kind of things?
I think churros are a very similar concept. You just pipe out dough into a
I feel like churros are like a
boiling
French,
oil.
like they're the Mexican
So
French fry.
I think the idea, ever since we've been able to boil things in oil, I think we've been doing something similar to just, hey, what if we put bread in it,
I love how you say boil them in oil instead of fry them in oil.
I couldn't think of the word, so I was like, boiled. Close enough.
Ah, yes, we're gonna fry things or boil things in oil.
Yes.
All right, so guilty pleasures. I actually want you to kind of start this topic because I'm still trying to figure out how I want to ask my first question for this. But we're talking about guilty pleasures for the main topic. You start, my friend. I have nothing to start with this one yet.
Just guilty pleasures in general?
Just guilty pleasures in general. Like, what do you do that you think is a guilty pleasure?
A lot of it has to do with food.
That's fair. Food
Uh,
is a guilty pleasure.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Like, me, I'm not exactly like the wild living kind of individual. So for me, it's like, oh, I've had 4 cookies instead of 3.
Oh,
Oh.
someone call the
Yeah,
police. This
like
man going crazy.
exactly. So yeah, whenever it comes to guilty pleasures, it's usually a variety of like food, staying up way too late, uh, sleeping in way too late.
Yeah.
uh, I know. And
So
Skyrim.
I definitely
Yeah.
think one of my guilty pleasures is like when like on a normal weekend when I'm not recording or streaming or anything like that, wifey and I will go downstairs and we'll sit downstairs, turn on an anime, and we're just eating ice cream out the bucket. Like screw putting that in a bowl, just pour, just take a spoon, open the lid, and just start eating. Oh my gosh, it's just so relaxing. It's nice to do. We're actually in the middle of an anime right now, and I'm actually trying to convince my wife to watch One Piece with me right now. But we're watching Spy Family right now. That is the
Oh,
most chaotic but greatest anime I have watched this year.
it is good.
This
It is
is
so good.
it is a good one. I think one of the weirder guilty pleasures I would have to say is I definitely like reading up on Monster Girl manga because I don't know what it is, but I like the idea of like human hybrid monster girls. I think it's a cool concept that someone came up with, and like if you're not over sexualizing them, there's actually really good stories. Yes, I know
Glad
what you were
brought that
thinking.
up. Like, we know why they were made.
Oh,
Come
we
on,
know
man.
why they were made,
We all
but
know.
they're like Monster Girl Doctor, like yeah, it's got all the fan service in it and all that. But if you can look past the fan service and actually pay attention to the story, the designs of the Monster Girls are actually pretty amazing.
I actually thought it was quite an interesting concept of just like, what if you did live in a world with many different races and species, and it's just like, what would a doctor look like? What kind of illnesses would they have to worry about? Like, me, back in high school, I was taking courses to become a doctor because that was my original plan of being an adult. But
I don't think you ever told me that.
yeah, I was like in EMR and EMT classes and stuff like that in
Huh.
preparation.
That makes so much sense
But
about those books now.
yeah, what?
I remember you carrying like all these books all the time to class, and I just never put two and two together that you were in like advanced courses like that.
Yeah. We hardly use those books.
Dude, I've come to learn that in school they'll give you like all these books and like, oh yeah, you're gonna need these books all semester, and then next thing you know, you use them once, and it's like, what were these books for? It was like for that one example. It's wild to me how much resources are just wasted.
You know, so it's funny because I never used my locker throughout high school. I had just carried everything in my bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
So it was less of an education material for me and more of strength training.
you know what lockers were in high school? They were just
uh,
your way of hoarding papers that you just stopped using in high school.
Pretty much. I mean, I used a locker once, and it was Amanda's locker, and it was to decorate it for Valentine's Day. It was the only time I've ever used a locker in high school.
I'll never forget that when like every end of the year, right? When it's like, oh, you got to clean out your locker, make sure it's all spotless and everything. Like I had to ask a few friends, I think it was junior year, to come help me clean out my locker, and they're like, "Why do you need help?" And I open it, and like, dude, what is wrong with you? I was like, "Yeah, I'm a hoarder." And they're like, "No shit, you're a hoarder." And like when you pull like certain things out, you realize like, "Oh, hey, there's the homework from that date, and there's homework from this date." And they're like, "Did you ever turn this in?" No.
uh,
And you wonder why you failed classes, Daiquiri.
yeah, I always felt so bad whenever I put in the effort and then never turned in something. I'm just like, oh, why would I do that to myself?
I literally could have been like an honor roll student if I had actually done my homework and actually read. Because like if I apply myself to anything, I can actually make it look really good. But if I'm not applying myself, it just it's literally gonna fail.
Yeah, even if I applied myself, I probably wouldn't make honors.
Ugh.
I, yeah, I did enough to get through. That's all I cared about.
You know it's horrible, and actually it's not really that horrible because um I just didn't really give a crap about our high school after we got to junior year. I don't remember who our valedictorian was.
Were we supposed to remember that?
Nope.
We're gonna be a pop quiz later. I
God,
didn't study.
I it's like everyone remembers who the valedictorian. Like if you talk to like the older generations, they're like, "Oh yeah, I remember my valedictorian. I went to my high school reunion." Dude, I've been out of high school. Like next year marks 10 years out of high school for us. And yeah, I don't remember who. I don't remember half of our class. You're the only person I've kept up with since high school.
Yeah.
And that's cuz we work together.
Yes.
But if we hadn't worked together, just like BMT, B-Man's the only person from BMT that I kept up with. Everyone else, if I run into someone and they say, "Hey, you and I were in BMT together," I was like, "Who are you?" It's been 8 years since BMT, and you think I remember you? No, not gonna happen. So I've met so many people throughout my career. It's just I can't remember them all. There's so many faces. I barely remember. This is gonna sound horrible. I barely remember most of my family.
Wow.
Like
Okay, I can understand extended family. Like I've got a bunch of cousins, and I certainly couldn't name them all nor what they look like.
yeah. So like, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like my extended family, I know like maybe two cousins from my dad's side, and then maybe three cousins from my mom's side. And then come to find out, the clan of my family is ginormous. And I asked them like, "Hey, how do I not know them?" And my family's like, "Oh, we never were around them." And I was like, "There's probably reasons that I should ask about, and I'm not going to reveal them, but I'm not going to say them on the internet. But yeah, there were reasons why we never met up with the other portion of the extended family. And now to this day, like sometimes my parents ask me like, "Hey, do you know who this is?" And I was like, I look at them, I was like, "You don't even look familiar."
Are you sure we're related?
I feel we took a hard tangent from guilty pleasures to family. Like I don't know how we got here. All right. Come on. Do you want to stay with the main topic, or should we just keep letting this tangent happen?
Well, I don't know how far we can go with guilty pleasures.
So
You know?
there was a question you put in the chat not too long ago, and it
All right.
was, "What game is a guilty pleasure to you, but most people hate?"
Most people hate. That's the thing. Yeah. Uh, I think it's kind of. I don't know. I play a lot of games that I feel like a lot of people already enjoy, like Skyrim. I really love to play Skyrim, and that one's pretty much beloved by all. It's been released way too many times. Uh, Games that other people hate. I guess we're gonna start listing what games do people hate?
That's a great question. I will say one that I feel like has gotten a lot of hate for, especially from my little friends group. Uh, Raft.
Rafts. Okay, I could see that.
A lot of people don't like Raft, and don't get me wrong, Raft is not a perfect game by no shot. Is it up there in the perfection of games? Because you could do so much more with that game if you could use your tools as weapons as well. And not only that, though, but the building isn't the greatest. But in reality, I think I could take Raft over Minecraft any day.
Hmm.
And that I know that's like a big what did you just say kind of thing, but I really stand by that. Like, don't get me wrong, you have a lot of versatility in Minecraft, but I feel like Minecraft is starting to become so overwhelming with the amount of things that you can do, that it just to me is not fun. It's kind of like Dead by Daylight. There's just so much, like there's too many variables in Dead by Daylight nowadays.
Yeah. I guess I guess not so much that I like it and other people don't, but I do have games that a lot of people really like that I just don't find interesting or I just don't like.
Okay, what you got?
Okay, so a lot of people really like Breath of the Wild. I did
Ooh.
not like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
It's not a bad game, it's just not a style that I enjoyed playing.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't like Legend of Zelda. Like there's a lot of Legend of Zelda games that I've played in the past that I really liked. I don't know. Another one is Dark Souls. A lot of people really like the Dark Souls series, my brother included, but it just never has piqued my interest,
There's a
which is
quote
really weird.
There's a
Go
quote
ahead.
from a TikTok that I saw when it came to like Souls games and bullet hells, and the quote is, "This is supposed to be an RPG. What role am I playing? The victim?" And that kills me every time because I literally like look at what's that newest Elden Ring? When Elden Ring came out, I saw people playing that for hours and like they were just dying constantly. Like there's no difficulty setting, which is good. Elden Ring is supposed to be like a hellish kind of game where you literally either are good at it or you don't play it.
Yeah,
And to me, like when my brother-in-law asked me to play Bloodborne, I played Bloodborne. And I'll tell you right now, Bloodborne is a very beautiful game, but really frick that game, dude, because like there's no explanation of what to do. It's jump in, die, jump in, die, jump in, figure out some controls, die, 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 die. It's not fun after a certain point when you're just getting trolled and dying a lot. It's just really not that fun to me.
that's the thing though. I've actually really gotten into challenging games kick this year, like doing like challenges that are just like just really really painful and a slog to get through, and then finally reaching that end and like the satisfaction of like, oh, I actually beat that thing.
Yeah.
So I know I could probably get decent enough at the game that after dying a million times, of course, that it would become a little bit more engaging. But I don't know. It's just like the whole world and idea of it. It hasn't drawn my attention yet, if at all. Yeah, we'll see.
You want to know what
Because I do
game?
love RPGs. Like, there's a lot of RPGs out there that I've played that I've really enjoyed. But I don't know. Dark Souls just not has not yet piqued my interest.
You know which one hasn't piqued my interest? And it's a really cool game. Like it's really cool to watch, but it's just not something I could convince myself to buy or play. Baldur's Gate.
The third one, or
Yeah,
just any of them?
any of them, honestly. But the third one, like I've watched my friends play it, and it's a cool concept on Dungeons and Dragons, and I like that they actually do have the dice rolls and all that. But I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, it's not piquing my interest at all.
Yeah, I can understand that. I uh I've really liked it though. Like it's really impressively made. If nothing else, like you can at least admit that it's like they really put their heart and soul into that game. There's just so much to do and so much to explore and find and things like that.
Oh,
But
100%. I definitely will agree that I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's not
yeah,
my style game, but
yeah.
I won't down talk the fact that the art is beautiful, the characters are well designed. It's a very versatile game. Like you can do a lot. Oh my gosh, Conrad. I just saw his comments. It
Hey,
caught me off guard. But
Peace, peace. Yeah, man.
um but it's a very beautiful game, don't get me wrong, but it's just to me it is a board game, and it's not something that I would play. I'm glad other people enjoy it. I'm glad that game is successful, but it's just not a game that I could enjoy. And that's wild because I like board games like Clue and Monopoly and stuff like that. But to me, Baldur's Gate. I think Baldur's Gate to me is a little overwhelming.
It can be pretty daunting. There's a lot, but that's kind of like the beauty of it. You know, having a lot to learn is also mean there's a lot to do. But yeah, if it doesn't pique your interest, that yeah, that's fine. Like, hey, I just got her done saying I don't like Dark Souls, so there you go.
Yeah.
It's not a bad game. They're great games, and so is Breath of the Wild. They're just not something that's piqued my interest.
Here, I
One that
actually.
I feel.
Go ahead. You
I
first.
was gonna say, one game that I do feel pretty guilty about is Pokemon Violet. I've had it
Really?
for several months now, and what's funny is like I know I should play it just because my friends play it, and it's like, you know, it's Pokemon. I love Pokemon, but for whatever reason, like it is just so hard for me to get myself to play it. Yet I'll go out of my way to play these ROM hacks of Pokemon so much more. Like I've played a ton of Pokemon in these past couple of months, just none of it has been Pokemon Violet. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I know I need to get on top of it. I just
So I feel like we should.
Yeah.
I actually kind of want to redo this podcast episode so we could actually talk about that, because I'm in the exact same boat with you about that game, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I it's
you can see what's going
uh,
Conrad, no.
oh my gosh, Conrad. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet to me, like, I feel like they had so much to do, and I like the fact that it's open world, but they followed that game. They followed Arceus up with Scarlet and Violet, and to me, Arceus definitely hit a lot harder than what Scarlet and Violet can. On the caveat that I feel like Arceus wasn't as fluid as Scarlet and Violet is, I will say that Arceus is a better game. To me, the sprites were too small. The designs of the Pokemon, I felt were. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like the designs of the Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet are lazy. I feel like they're lazy. They're just completely underdone, and it's just like no one cared. Because tell me how 2 mice evolve into 4 mice. That's not evolution, my friend. That's not evolution. I'll tell you that right now. That's not evolution. But that's just a group coming together.
The funny thing is, though, is I feel like this argument is brought up every time a new Pokemon version comes out. It's just always like, oh, the Pokemon are hideous. This is terrible. Gen 1 was better. Rawr. But
I mean,
mean,
was Gen 1 really the best gen? I don't think it was. But no, you can't really defend a lot of the designs. Like, let's talk about the 3 starters, for example. The 3 starters, to me, are the worst of the 3 designed, of the 3 starters. They are the worst designed of all of them.
yeah, I was a little disappointed in their final evolutions. Like, I get it. Their evolutions are like, they make sense for the region that they're in, but it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I'll find myself picking any other starter except for Snivy.
Snivy.
Over them.
Oh, Snivy, yeah.
Yeah,
But
Snivy. Yeah,
the serpent Pokemon, yeah. No, but like Sprigatito, I feel like the final form of Sprigatito, I feel like they could have done so much better, added a little bit more color to it, because it was very flat. I think it was a very flat flat designed character. The Fuecoco, the fire type. You had so much potential to make that a beautiful, scary ghost fire type Pokemon, and you just ruined it by giving him a clown afro. I'm sorry, but he has a clown afro. And then Quaxley. You could have turned Quaxley into like a sailor duck. Don't get me wrong, Disney probably would have had a problem with it because, again, Donald Duck to Quaxley. but how are you going to turn what looks like a freaking sailor of a duck into whatever that Cucaracha was? Like, that was garbage, man. Quaxley probably irritated. Oh, I've gone back to Arceus recently and loved it. Yeah, Violet looks poopy schmoopy. Quaxley Final Evolution scares me. Nah, Quaxley Final Evolution is a joke, man. I once I threw Quaxley in the box, and I never went back to him. Quaxley will forever stay Quaxley, and he will stay in the box, hidden, safe, so he can never evolve.
Yeah.
But I like, we might have to make a whole nother show about this where we talk about all is it 9 gens or 8 gens now?
9.
I think that will be in a separate show where we talk about the 9 gens of starters. Are the 9 gen starters, and then we will rate them where we think they go and all that. But right now, I will definitely say Scarlet and Violet starters are the worst. And not only that though, but Koraidon, and I don't know what the Violet version is. I don't know what that legendary is called. Those were shit designs. I'm sorry. They were garbage. Like, how are you gonna make Koraidon a like motorcycle type character,
You're
and
right.
he runs around. Like at least the Violet version is a motorcycle. You got a nasty design for a lizard. That's horrible.
All right, now that you've given all of your nasty feedback, you want to give any positive feedback? Were there any Pokemon from this generation that looked good to you that
No,
you liked?
no.
None.
Actually,
Not a single one.
that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a
Yeah, I was
lie.
gonna say that's Cap. Come on.
That's hella cap. The flamingo Pokemon was my favorite Pokemon. As I'm wearing
Isn't that just like a basic flamingo? Hang on, I gotta look up. I gotta look up
it
Pokemon
really was a
Violet.
basic flamingo. I'm wearing flamingos on my shirt right now, by the way.
Funnily enough, I've played more Arceus than I have Violet, so I'm actually really
Flamingo.
don't.
That's what it's called.
Its name is literally Flamingo.
No, it's Flamigo.
Flamigo.
Like amigo. Flamigo.
Oh, I get it,
Oh
Flamigo.
my gosh. Flamigo is best mod from that gen. No, oh gosh. I like what they did to Whopper. Whopper. Oh god, I'm having intrusive thoughts right now. Whopper had a great redesign. Bexcalibur. I don't know who Bexcalibur is. I'll gladly look up Bexcalibur. I don't think I got that far. Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't finish Scarlet and Violet. I got to a certain point, I was like, I'm done. I can't do this. Because honest to God, if I kept playing Scarlet and Violet, I was gonna get mad.
All right. Okay, I will say the design for low kicks is actually pretty cool. The switchblade cricket.
That sounds really cool, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind that. That's a pretty good design. Um,
Bexcalibur's a decent design. I'll give you that, I guess.
Isn't that a Gen 8 Pokemon though?
Is it Gen 8? No, it's Gen 9.
Alright. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know either. I'm no
Not
Pokemon
Pokemon
expert.
expert.
Before we piss people off saying we're Pokemon expert, we're not Pokemon. No, it's the
No,
Gen 9
okay, all the
Dragon.
way up until like Gen 7, and then after that it's just kind of
Yeah. Sword and Shield though, I will say like Sword and Shield probably is one of my favorite games just because of the
Dragon,
Dynamax.
okay.
And then I like the Dynamax of Sword and Shield, and then I also like the dens where you can go and catch the legendaries. I think that was a fun little concept that they came up with. I'm trying to find people to come do Dynamax dens with me, but no one plays Sword and Shield anymore. Scarlet Violet, rada.
Alright, Arboliva is also kind of cool. It's an olive tree Pokemon.
I feel like we're
don't know.
definitely gonna have a Pokemon episode now because we're definitely getting into Pokemon a
Are
little
we
bit
gonna
more.
do our own Smash or Pass Pokemon list?
I mean, we could. I don't know how well that's gonna turn out for us. Tinkerton was a funny Pokemon. Okay. The hammer Pokemon that like it just walks around with a giant mallet. That's a wild Pokemon. I like it. Oh, Annihilate was a cool one.
I like Knackley too. Knackley and its whole generation
I have
or its
not seen
evolution
that.
line. It's just salt. It's just boxy salt. I
Oh
think it's
my
cool.
gosh, you and your boxy salt.
I mean, it's a sentence I never thought I would hear before.
You and your boxy salt. What are you thinking there?
Annihilate is kind of cool.
The Minecraft Pokemon. That's where we're at right now. The Minecraft Pokemon.
Yeah.
You know who's a
Armory.
really this isn't Scarlet Violet related, but you know who a really cool Pokemon is? Dragapult. That's a really cool Pokemon.
Dragapult. Yeah, that's Gen 8 though.
Yeah, but you have to think he's like a flying jet dragon with dragon missiles. That's super dope.
A jet ghost dragon.
Yep.
No.
Oh,
How metal could you get?
well,
And he fires little baby him. Lots of little babies of themselves. They fire him as missiles.
I definitely think in the next show we should definitely talk about Pokemon, like what we want to see for the future. But because we're on the topic of Pokemon and we are coming to the end of this episode, I think this is the perfect time to tell you guys we're doing a Soul Link Nuzlocke together, which is going to be hell because, as if you haven't guessed already, I barely know Pokemon. The good thing is the generation we are doing is a game I've actually played before, but it's all going to be completely randomized. So this is going to be hell. We're doing a Soul Link Nuzlocke of Fire Red and Leaf Green. It's going to be super exciting. I'm super stoked. Don't know when we're starting it yet because Soul Links definitely have to have a lot of planning behind them of like timing. But that's going to be once a week following Paper Mario, but it's probably going to be my Tuesday upload. So if you want to see that, let me know. Also, make sure you're if you're watching this on YouTube, comment on this video or any other videos if you want to have a Pokemon named after you. It's going to be wild. It's going to be fun. It sounds legit. I'll help you. I know way too much about Pokemon. So I will say the Soul Link, just so I don't want to break anyone's heart, the Soul Link Nuzlocke won't be live streamed. It is going to be recorded and it's going to be uploaded on YouTube. So I will gladly take any comments, tips, pointers. No spoilers. No spoilers in the comments. And above all, no backseat gaming. If you got tips, that's great. No backseat gaming, though. That's all we're asking for, because this is supposed to be fun.
Sag.
Sag.
Hey, worst comes to worst, you can chat with me, Conrad. What's going on? If you want. You can give me pointers, and then I'll have the advantage.
I definitely think I'll be having a Bulbapedia or a Pokedex up, so that way if I have to look up like what's weak to what in what generation, I can know, because I'm not gonna lie, playing Pokemon earlier today made me realize I barely know typings apparently. Because apparently I'm struggling to remember if ice is strong against ground or not. I keep thinking it is, but I don't think it is.
Are they fighting against ground?
Yeah.
There's no correlation. They're neither
ice and ground.
Wow. Man, you're getting called out.
Oh, wow. Hi, Eeyore. I missed you, buddy. Wow.
But, well, yeah, the ice ground combo is kind of interesting because ice beats ground, but rock beats ice. So it's just like.
I will say I've always hated that, and this is gonna sound really stupid. I've always hated that there's rock and then there's ground. I think I've always had a conniption fit with that combination, like rock, ground, rock, whatever you want to call it. I was like, why do you have two of almost the same thing? Like, I get it, they're not always the same thing, but why are they the same? I don't think you agree with me on that.
I mean, in Gen 1, there really wasn't a difference. If it was a rock type, it usually had ground attached to it.
Yeah. All right. So, last call question is, and this one's going to be kind of a weird question for you, but since we've basically been talking about Pokemon for the rest of the night, I feel like we should end this with guilty pleasures. Actually, sure. You know what? I'm going to mix the two. What Pokemon do you always have to have on your team when you're playing Pokemon? Like, if you caught it, you have it in your party or your box, it has to be on your team. What is it?
Easy answer. Nidoking, baby.
Really?
Yes.
That catches me off guard quite a bit,
he
actually.
Always is on my team. That or Breloom. Both of those Pokemon just seem to sneak their way in.
Okay. That's a great answer. Did not expect. Honest to God, thought you were gonna go somewhere else. I thought you were gonna go electric type, not Nidoking poison type. So definitely thrown off by that one. Mine.
Gyarados is also a really good choice.
Which one?
I've been trying to get off the Gyarados drug. It's just too easy to get back on.
Yeah, that is true. My favorite Pokemon that always has to be on my team. There's actually two, and mine is
special
Floatzel, because I love Weasel from the show. Weasel was one of my favorites growing up. But from Gen 8, he is the bestest boy. He's probably my favorite dog type Pokemon that's come out of Pokemon. But Yamper or Bolttoon, they always have to be on my team. So, yeah, that's my guilty pleasure Pokemon right there, Bolttoon. You want to talk about guilty pleasure Pokemon? Let's talk about Lopunny. Oh no, he's disappeared into the void. Now you're all.
Nah, sorry, I ran into the comments for a second.
I love that guy. Bolttoon is my favorite Pokemon. But anyway, we're gonna end this installment of Tavern Talk. It sounds like we might be doing Phasmophobia right now. It sounds like it's time to get scared. So, I love you guys.
We're doing Payday.
I guess we could do Payday and Phasmophobia. What if we did a mix of Phasmophobia and Payday? But anyway.
Play both at the same time.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Tavern Talk. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, leave a like down below if you guys like this show. Comment for what you want to see us talk about next. And above all, make sure you subscribe, follow, like the channel today so you guys can see more amazing content that I create with Silver. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Have a great night. Say goodnight, Silver.
Good night, Silver.
I hate you so much. Bye, guys.